Story time of how my entire virtual online class found out that I was pregnant, and one of them ended up telling my mom. So due to COVID, where I live, there is no in-person school, so everybody is virtual. So I was in my first block, and you only have to turn on your cameras for when she does attendance, and then when you're talking. So I was called on and I had to answer questions, so I unmuted myself and I turned on my camera. And then when I was done, I turned off my camera and I think I forgot to mute myself back. After that, during that week, I was already having a pregnancy scare, so I FaceTimed my boyfriend and I went to go take a pregnancy test. Mind you, I don't really listen in class to begin with, so I turned the volume all the way back down because when the teacher calls on you once, she doesn't call on you again. So again, I couldn't hear anything happening in the classroom. So I was on the phone with my boyfriend. I was freaking out while I was taking a pregnancy test, and it ended up coming back positive. So I started freaking out and I started bawling my eyes out. And in my room, I was screaming, I'm pregnant, what am I gonna do? I look back over and the session had ended, and everyone in that class is texting me like, oh my god, are you okay? I'm here for you, blah, 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 blah. So of course I start to freak out. I'm running out of time like for part 2. Part 2 of how my whole entire online class found out that I was pregnant and one of them told my mom. So continuing with the story, I texted a couple of them back and I was like, how did you know? And they were like, we heard you sobbing in the background screaming, I'm pregnant. Then one of them goes, we heard some guy in the background screaming, just get a hanger, and you were screaming, no! Then one of them comes to tell me that the teacher had to start a brand new class because I wouldn't mute myself. So then I emailed my teacher and I told her that I was going through a really hard time and I really do apologize. And then she explained to me that everything was fine, like she understands things happen. So we were all good until like 3 days later. And my mom calls me telling me that somebody in my class had told her that I am pregnant. And I tried telling her like, no, like that is not true whatsoever. And then she sends me a recording that somebody else sent her of me in my room bawling my eyes out screaming, I'm pregnant, I don't know what to do. So somebody in my class was a big old snitch and sent a recording of me screaming I'm pregnant to my mom. And my mom is trying to force me to get an abortion, but I don't want to. To sum it up, I'm moving in with my grandma because she's super supportive. And in 3 months, I'll be having a baby boy. Story time of how my mom kicked me out at age 15 because she found out I was dating a mixed boy. So basically, my mom wasn't strict at all and she let me do almost anything that I wanted. But when it came to dating, it was a whole different story. I mean, she let me start dating at 12 years old, but every single time I told her I had a boyfriend, the first thing that she would say is, he better be white. And she'd always say, if it ain't white, it ain't right. Mind you, my preference was mixed and dark-skinned boys. So of course, I'm going to go after to what I'm attracted to. And at 14, I started dating this kid and I asked my mom if I could invite my boyfriend to my birthday. We weren't really doing anything big. It was kind of just like a family party with a couple friends. And she said yes. Mind you, she had never met him or seen a picture of him, so she was kind of excited to meet him. So my birthday comes around and he gets there. And as soon as he walked into the door, I gave him a big hug and my mom turned around and gave me the most evil look ever. She pulled me aside and her exact words were, is this a joke? And she literally said, I trusted you enough to not bring this kind of hood in our house. I'm running out of time like for this part 2. Part 2 of how my mom kicked me out at age 15 because she found out I was dating a mixed boy. Continuing with the story, after the party, I had asked him to stay for like an hour or 2 later. And afterwards, my mom was just being completely rude the entire time towards him. And right in front of him, she screamed at me and said, I don't want this type of black trash in my house. Please get it out. Mind you, I hate disrespecting my mom and I never talked back to her. But I yelled back at her and said that was the most disrespectful thing she could have ever said. And while all this is happening, he looks like he's about to bust into tears. Like, I genuinely know this kid had a soft spot for me. So I apologize and I tell him I think it's best for him to leave. And afterwards he FaceTimes me and he tells me that he will do anything to be able to keep me. And after he leaves, my mom tells me that I'm a big disgrace to the family and she doesn't want me living there no more. All over me bringing a mixed guy to the house. I'm now 19 and I'm still with him. And I really haven't talked to my mom since. But that day she kicked me out and I had to go stay with his family. She still wants nothing to do with me because I'm still with a mixed guy. Mom, if you're listening to this, you're a racist. Story time of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she even plotted to kill my boyfriend. So at the time, me and this girl, let's just call her Olivia, had only been friends for about 2 years. I mean, we really did everything together. We were with each other 24/7, and I mean, we were pretty good friends. But the only thing about our friendship is she did not like when I had other friends. I mean, she didn't have any other friends herself, but literally she would joke around about strangling my other friends because she didn't like when I gave my attention to anyone else. But honestly, I just thought of it as a joke. And then I started dating this guy, let's just name him Jacob. He was probably the sweetest guy I had ever met, and he was a real simp for me. So we started dating and about 4 or 5 months go by, and he started getting these texts from a random number. And it would always be cringy things like leave her or you die, get away from her, and like stupid cringy threats. Then one night, me and him were just hanging out. Then he gets a text with his exact address saying he had till tonight to leave me, or he wouldn't see another day. Then we hear a knock at the door. I'm running out of time, like for part 2. Part 2 of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she plotted to kill my boyfriend. So continuing on with the story, we heard a knock at the door and it ended up being her. And she said, "Oh, I'm just coming by to check on you and make sure you're okay." Mind you, we were at his house. And he looks at me like, what is she doing here? So I asked her to leave, and then she ends up getting so mad at me just because I asked her to give us alone time. So the night goes on, and then when I get home, she's in my room. At this time, my whole entire family was out of town, and I was the only one home. So I was like, hey. It was literally just like a normal night, and then I go to shower, and when I get back out of the shower, she's gone. And then my boyfriend calls me, and he goes, "Why is Maddie here?" She had like this black mask on, but she's stupid enough to not realize that we know it's her. And I mean, we're being real here. She was my best friend at the time, so of course he's not going to call the police on her. But she had a knife in her hand, and he opens the door and he like pins her against the wall and then calls 911, I guess. And then to sum it up, when they get there, she tells them everything that she was going to do, and then they put her in a mental hospital. But she said that she was going to murder everybody that gets close. Story time of how I burned down my entire house when I was 8 years old. So basically, we had so many candles in the house, I guess just because my mom was obsessed with candles. I was also obsessed with fire. So every time I seen the candle, I would put my finger in the fire. And no, it didn't hurt me whatsoever. I guess it was just amusing to me. And everybody called me a pyro. So one day I was scrolling on Musical.ly, and on like the Feature Me page, I saw something with a candle. And it was like how to make your own candle or something like that. But you had to make your own candle out of a candle. So I went into my room and I closed my door. And like the first step was melting the candle all the way. So I lit the candle and then I put a piece of paper in there. I don't know why I did, but I did. And the fire started getting so big, so I lifted the piece of paper and I threw it on my rug. And I didn't want to get in trouble for fire on the floor, so I just left my room and left it alone. And I kid you not, just a couple minutes later, I hear the smoke detector going off. And my older brother screaming. I'm running out of time, like, for part 2. Part 2 of how I burned down my entire house at just 8 years old. So continuing on with the story, after I hear the smoke alarms going off and my brother screaming, I knew exactly what I did. And I blamed it all on my brother. And to this day, they still think it's my brother. Even though it was in my room, but my family believed whatever I said. Anyways, the whole back side of the house was on fire, and we all rush out of the house. And of course, my mom takes care of it. I'm pretty sure she called 911. Well, duh. Sadly, our 2 cats, 2 bunnies, and 4 hamsters were in the house. And our bird, but our bird was getting ready to pass anyways. I'm not sure how, but the house caught on fire so quickly, and the entire thing just blew up into flames. There might have been something else that the fire triggered to make it more big, I guess. I don't really know how to word that. But we ended up raising enough money to move to a different house because we lost every single one of our belongings. When the house burned down, there was only one wall standing, and it was the wall of pictures of my grandma who passed 10 years ago. So I'm getting a card today. And before any of you guys call me spoiled, I'm buying it myself. Also, is anybody going to Playlist Live like in around September? Because I'm going, but I just don't know what ticket to get. So if you know what ticket to get, let me know. I went to go take my dog out and I saw a cat get ran over and I cried, and now I'm about to cry thinking about it because the cat just went everywhere, and yeah. Ari, look at the people.
Don't want to eat people.
You don't like people?
Not away, Ghana.
No.
Oh, fuck on you.
Hey, hi guys. Hi guys. Hi guys, so apparently I make a bunch of people's blood boil really bad, and apparently I am very, very annoying, and you guys hate my stupid slime licker content, but you guys still comment on it. So I was coming public and making a very sincere apology for annoying a bunch of you guys. Here it goes. Fake I feel like I owe you guys a very big apology for making all of you guys' blood boil, and I annoy you guys really bad. So I really hope you guys can forgive me, and I will try my best not to annoy you guys as much as I do. So comment down below what content you would rather see than my content I am doing now. So if you guys forgive me, please say I. So yeah guys, I'm very, very sorry for making all of you guys' blood boil and making you guys so annoyed. Also, if you guys couldn't tell, that was so sarcasm. If you guys don't like somebody's content, simply scroll. Remember, you're just seeing the social media version of them. You don't see the at-home version. Hey girl, why aren't you getting ready yet? Oh my god, I forgot I wasn't allowed to tell you. Oh my god, there's a party tonight, but you just like weren't invited because you're like just not cool enough, but you know, it's okay. Anyways, do you have any tea for me? Oh my god, you and Dylan are dating? Oh my goodness. I'm so happy for you guys, but actually I gotta go. Hey Dylan, I just got off the phone with Emily and she told me that you guys were dating, is that right? Oh, y'all are dating? Okay, yeah. I heard that she wears the same clothes over and over again, and she actually 2 years ago wore the same pants 7 days in a row. Like, I think that's pretty disgusting, and you know, maybe that area probably just doesn't smell the best just because, you know, she wears the same clothes over and over again. So maybe she's not like the right pick for you. I mean, you could always choose me even though I wouldn't choose you, but it's okay. Toodles. Hey bestie, what are you wearing to the party tonight? I'm actually wearing red, so you can't wear red. Yeah, no, red looks best on me, and you cannot outshine me, like, literally at all. So do not wear that because you're not gonna look as good as me in that. So might as well not even go because you don't even look that well. This is so random and so weird, but my biggest fear is being in a pool and that cover, like that metal cover coming over the top of you and you not being able to get out of the thing. I don't know. I saw a movie on that, and now it's literally my biggest fear, and I think about it all the time, and it like does not get out of my head, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Literally huge trigger warning on this next part. Do not watch if like, yeah, you get triggered really easily, so trigger warning. This is how my cat in the dryer. This was my mom with him. His name was Chaos. Anyways, the girl that used to be like my older sister, she's not really my older sister, but it's too much to explain right now. She was doing laundry one day. She never admitted to it, but we all know it was her. She was doing laundry one day, and the cat always left to go in the dryer because it was dark and warm. But I guess she didn't check the dryer, and she threw all the clothes in there, started the dryer, and that same exact night I heard thump, 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 thump in the dryer, but I didn't think anything of it until the